Every morning you wake up and you do things that wealthy people would never do, but you can reprogram yourself. And I'm going to make you feel like a millionaire by the end of the video, and it won't cost you a penny. I'm about to show you the exact mindset shifts that cost almost nothing, but will rewire your entire brain to attract wealth like a magnet, even though you're earning the same money. So by the end of the video, you'll have a step-by-step guide on how to feel rich before you actually are, and you'll be well on your way to start living your life that you've always dreamed of. What separates the broke people from the wealthy people? You might think it's how much money is in their bank account, but this couldn't be more wrong. It's something so much deeper than this. Let's use Beth as an example. She used to buy coffee at McDonald's every morning. £1.89 is cheap and it's practical. She was proud of being known for being sensible with money. But what she didn't realize is that every single morning, she was programming her brain for scarcity. Think of your brain like a detective gathering evidence. I'm sure you've all heard that it takes around 2 months of doing something for it to become a habit. Every cheap coffee that Beth bought was evidence that she couldn't afford better. Every time she went shopping in Primark was proof that luxury wasn't for her. She was literally training her subconscious to keep her broke. But what if Beth took that same £20 that she'd normally spend on 5 days of McDonald's coffees and instead bought one coffee at the Four Seasons Hotel and then another at the Ritz? You might be sitting there thinking, well, that's ridiculous. It's the same cup of coffee. But here's what happens when you take this approach and shift your mindset, which is completely backed by neuroscience. Your brain can't tell between pretending to be rich and actually being rich. When Beth sits in those fancy hotels, when the server treats her like royalty, when she sips from an expensive mug, her nervous system experiences wealth. Her brain starts to believe that luxury is normal for her. It's only then that Beth starts to subconsciously make decisions that launches her income and her lifestyle into the wealthy bracket. So once a week, spend like a millionaire on something small. A fancy coffee, a premium sandwich for lunch, or an expensive candle. You might not realize it, but your brain is keeping score. And in order for things to change, you needed to collect evidence that you belong in these wealthy environments. I'm about to show you how to hack your brain with 3 simple words, which will change the way that you think and speak about money forever. But first, did you ever play that game where you see a yellow car and you give a mate a punch in the arm? Well, when someone starts that game, do you feel like you suddenly start noticing yellow cars everywhere? That's not a coincidence. That's your brain's filtering system at work, and wealthy people have figured out how to program it in a way that's so different from how you're currently thinking. This system in your brain is so smart and literally no one knows about it. It acts like a bouncer at your consciousness, deciding what to let in and get your attention, and what gets told to bugger off. If you keep saying things like, I can't afford it, or that's too expensive, you're actually training your bouncer to only let in evidence of things that you can't have. But wealthy people speak a completely different language. They never say, I can't afford it. Instead, they ask, how can I afford it? Watch what happens when you make this switch. Instead of saying, that's too expensive, try, that's not a priority right now. Instead of, I've got no money, try, I'm restructuring my finances. There was this guy, James, who would always say the same 3 words when an opportunity came up. He'd always start with, I can't afford. Whether that was him saying he can't afford to take risk at his age, or he can't afford to invest in himself. His brain bouncer was working perfectly to filter out every opportunity of wealth. Then, one day I had a chat with him to try and get him to switch his language. Instead of saying, I can't afford that course, flip it to, how can I afford that course? Instead of, I can't afford to quit my job, it became, how can I make this work? And when you make this switch, your brain stops looking for reasons why something's impossible and starts hunting for ways to make it happen. Around a couple of months later, James got offered a promotion that he'd been overlooked for twice before. His manager actually said to him that he seemed more confident and strategic in their meetings. What most people don't realize is that the words that are coming out of your mouth are so powerful. You might think that they're just describing your reality, but in actual fact, they're creating it. Every sentence is like a small Lego piece being put together to build the person that you're becoming. If you catch yourself saying, I can't afford, flip it to, how can I? Start training the bouncer in your brain to look for solutions and not problems. Here's something that 90% of millionaires do, but 90% of broke people think is stupid. When you hear what it is, you might think it's ridiculous. But when you think about it for a while and let it actually sink in, it makes so much sense. If you only had a £5 in your bank account, but your mate asked you to borrow £2 to buy a coffee, would you do it? Every part of your brain might be screaming no to you, but agreeing this could give you the biggest financial breakthrough of your life. Picture a garden hose. If you want water to flow out of the end, what's the first thing that has to happen? Water has to flow in. You're probably treating money like a closed fist, gripping it so tight, trying to keep every penny. But wealthy people understand that money is like the water in the hose. It has to flow. When you treat money like a closed fist, holding on to every penny, you're putting out to the universe that you operate from a place of fear and scarcity. If you've got any friends that are wealthy, have you noticed that they're often more generous with their money? They might leave in a big tip in a restaurant, and you might think it's just because they've already got a bit of money. But it's actually so much more than that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to give away all the money that you've got that's covering your rent next week, but what I am going to say is be strategically generous, even when you think you can't afford it. Giving £5 to a homeless person can be the start of a shift inside you. You can go from feeling like a victim, trapped in your own money mindset, to feeling like someone who's got the power to impact others. If you start to do this, you'll go from seeing yourself as a broke person that can't afford anything to that generous person who chooses how to use money. I made this exact move, and within a week, I found £20 on the floor. Is it a coincidence? Well, yeah, maybe. But when you shift your mindset and start making actions, these coincidences might just start happening more and more. So give it a go. Give away something every week, even if it is just £1. Watch how it changes your relationship with money from being fearful and scarce to flowing like water through a hose. You're about to do something at least 100 times today, and you have no idea that you're doing it. But if you make one tiny change to this unconscious habit, you will literally reprogram your entire brain for wealth whilst doing something you were going to do anyway. So grab your phone and have a look at your lock screen. What is it? If you're like most people, it's probably a nice sunset or a picture of your family. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're wasting the most powerful location in your life. On average, you look at your phone over 100 times per day. That's 100 opportunities to program your subconscious mind. That's over 100 chances to feed your brain images of wealth. And you're using it to look at a sunset. Here's what I want you to do. Go to Google Images right now and search for your dream life. Maybe it's a Tesla in a beautiful driveway. Maybe it's a sunset view from a penthouse apartment. You could even take this a step further and edit a picture of you and your family into this image, but make sure to set it as your lock screen. So now, every time you check your phone, your subconscious is getting programmed without even realizing it. You're not just looking at a picture, you're training your brain to see its lifestyle as normal. Something that you're expecting and something that is going to happen. There's a study from Harvard University where they show people pictures of money for just 17 milliseconds. The results were that those people became more motivated, they worked harder, and they took bigger risks. Imagine the impact of feeding your brain this positive image over 100 times per day. You might see your phone screen as insignificant, but it's not just there for decoration. This is the easiest and cheapest way to reprogram your mind. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? I'd be very surprised if it didn't involve looking at your phone, checking messages, reading the news, or scrolling social media. But every morning, before you get out of bed, you make choices that determines whether you'll be rich or you'll be poor. You don't actually realize you're making it, and most people make the completely wrong choice. But once you know what the choice is, everything starts to change. So here's how you can start your day programming wealth consciousness directly into your nervous system. This is what I call the 6-minute millionaire morning. And it's based on how your brain processes emotion and memory. This morning routine costs nothing, takes less time than making a coffee, and starts to program you for wealth whilst you're still in bed. If you've not done anything like meditation before, then it can be quite difficult at first, but like I mentioned at the start of the video, building good habits takes time to implement. Even if you can't manage the full 6 minutes just yet, try doing 3 and then increasing it as the time goes on. The thing is, your brain can't tell the difference between vivid imagination and a real memory. When you visualize something so strong, your brain literally creates new neural pathways as if that experience has already happened. For the first 2 minutes, I want you to close your eyes and feel into your wealthy future. Don't just see it, literally feel it. Feel the seats of your new Tesla. Feel the satisfaction of paying bills without even checking your bank balance. Feel the confidence of walking into any restaurant, ordering whatever you want, without worrying about how much it's going to cost you. For the next 2 minutes, I want you to have a conversation with your future wealthy self. Picture them sitting across from you, looking confident, relaxed, and successful. Ask them, what's the one thing that I should focus on today? And then listen. Let them tell you about the opportunities you're missing and the risks that are worth taking. Let that wealthy version of you give you guidance. The last 2 minutes should end with gratitude for what's already flowing towards you like the water in the hose. Thank the universe for the money that's already on its way to you, the opportunities that are lining up, and the wealth that's managed to seek you out already. Even if you think this is completely crazy and will never work, please just give it a try. Like I've mentioned throughout this video, this is a mind over matter kind of thing. You're literally rehearsing wealth until your brain thinks it's already a reality. The 5 habits that I've mentioned today, even if they do sound a little far out to you, they're not magic tricks. They're reprogramming tools designed to align with what's going on in your head with what you actually want to happen in the future. This can sound really overwhelming at first, so just start with one habit this week. Don't care which one, just pick one that excites you the most or feels the easiest. Because people who feel rich first become rich the fastest. So which habit are you going to try? Drop it in the comments below and I'll reply to every single one. And if this video shifted something for you, smash that like button and hit subscribe. It tells YouTube to show this to more people who need to hear it. Remember that your wealth isn't determined by your bank account. It's determined by your inner account. It's something that you can change today. You don't want to hit retirement and realize that you've got nothing left to live on.